nothing
Exactly.
else matters. So yeah, don't be that person who's living above their means and leasing a car they can't afford and trying to buy a place they can't afford or rent a really fancy place to look great when they
Hmm.
don't need it, and then they get themselves in financial difficulty because that's the difference between someone who has a steady paycheck where it's a very stable job they might have for 10 years and
Hmm.
and they know exactly what they're going to be making, next summer. Whereas for me, I've been an entrepreneur since I'm 24. I've had great years and I've had bad years. And in trading, that's a weird job where you can work all year and you can actually have a negative year, which is crazy. I only had that once, but I remember thinking,
Well,
man,
you said
I
it,
could have,
blue collar, man. Some blue collar work.
yes, it's, but as one, I remember thinking I could
Yeah.
have gone to Australia, sat on the beach and just relaxed all year. And I would have been better off financially than being stressed trading all year and having a negative year. It's such a weird thing to comprehend. But if you're an
Right.
entrepreneur, I think you've got to have some safety nets in place, and you've got to be willing to be like, hey, I can pay for my living expenses for 6 to 12 months because
Hmm.
things can go bad. And I know you've had some misfortunes too.
Yeah.
I think in business, I have too. Trust me, I've got a lot of successes and I've had some failures too. And I
Yeah.
think the best advice, one thing I always, this is just in life, this is not just
Hmm.
in business, but it's in health, it's in romantic relationships, it's in
Yeah.
friendships. That we have good times and we have bad times. And
Hmm.
one of the saddest things for me is arrogance and hubris, because that's when someone's at the top of whatever success they're so proud of. But the world unfortunately is cyclical and people do fall on tough times. So I think
Hmm.
when you're doing really well, you should be putting some money aside. You should be being a little humble. You should be thinking the role of luck and fate because things are great, because it's not always going to be great. And that's one lesson that I've learned the hard way.
Yes, and I'm glad you said that because as listeners who you may be doing well or you may have something happen, understand when you decided to put that money in a condo that you ended up living in for 10 years, that becomes your asset.